Good evening and welcome to Sunday Express. It's normal for a woman to breastfeed, but have you ever thought of a woman who's breastfeeding a child that is not theirs? Now we're talking about a lady who has not just breastfed 1 or 2 or 3. We're talking about one who has breastfed 13 children who are not hers, and that is because they were rescued. We have that story lined up for you tonight, and indeed there's another bloodbath happening at Anfield. Manchester United are 4 goals down to Liverpool. We'll also be updating you on the result. Welcome to Sunday Express. Here is our highlights.
Between the time IBC announced William Ruto as president and the day he was sworn in, they looted more than 24 billion shillings in this country.
Naming and shaming. DP Rigathi Gachagua says he will disclose the names of government officials who looted from the public coffers. A dangerous terrain. Samburu residents hold a protest following the killing of 4 people in separate bandit attacks. And a story of compassion. We feature a 37-year-old woman who has breastfed 13 abandoned and rescued infants. Once more, welcome to the broadcaster. Sign language interpreter tonight is Lensa Udingo. My name is John Jacob Kioria. Now, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua says he will disclose the names of senior government officials who served under President Uhuru Kenyatta or retired President Uhuru Kenyatta and allegedly looted 24 billion shillings from the public coffers. Gachagua says in the next few days he will reveal the identity of those who took advantage of a 3-month transitional period to execute the heist that left the public coffers dry. Additionally, the Deputy President says government will dismantle plans by a few individuals who continue to enjoy monopoly in the supply of certain goods in the market to the detriment of consumers. The Deputy President, accompanied by a host of leaders from the Kenya Kwanza coalition, attended a Sunday service at the Jesus Winner Ministry in Roysambu, Nairobi. It is at the Jesus Winner Ministry's altar that he hinted he will be naming and shaming senior government officials who served under retired President Uhuru Kenyatta regime responsible for embezzling 24 billion shillings from the public coffers.
Pesa ya Kenya yote saa ile waliona uchaguzi umeharibika walibeba na magunia. Hata hii petition huyu mzee ya maandamano hakuwa anataka, alisukumwa aweke petition to allow them room wakati ya Supreme Court inasikiza kesi waibe mali ya Kenya. Between the time IBC announced William Ruto as president and the day he was sworn in, they looted more than 24 billion shillings in this country.
The Deputy President backed claims made by the Budget and Appropriations Committee Tuesday that an extra 6 billion shillings was looted through a purported share buyout in Telkom Kenya 3 days to the general election in August.
Pale katika police air wing, pale Wilson, ndio pesa ilikuwa inaletwa na magunia, inawekwa kwa ndege, inapelekwa kwa mtu nyumbani, inapelekwa kwa mwingine. In the next few days, nitatangazia wa Kenya pesa ilienda kwa nani. Wasituletee sisi.
At the same time, he took a swipe at a section of leaders allied to Azimio who are pushing for mass action over the high cost of living. The DP says they are the same individuals behind the daring haste.
We found a broke country with nothing. The little that was remaining waliiba siku za mwisho. Na hawa ndio walikuwa naongoza kusema watu ni wezi. Na hao ndio walikuwa waizi wakuu.
Wakenya wamechoka na siasa. Siasa tulipiga kura ilisha, si kweli? Mshindi akapatikana. Mimi sitakubali mali ya mtu wa Nairobi, biashara ya mtu wa Nairobi, maisha ya mtu wa Nairobi iatarishwe kwa sababu ya maandamano. No.
Responding to claims that government is targeting high-profile families and their businesses, the Deputy President maintained that government is keen on stabilizing the economy by eliminating monopoly and opening up the market for other traders to supply goods and services.
Why there was a project called Azimio, why that fellow was being chaperoned, it is because they wanted to continue with state capture and monopoly to continue exploiting the people of Kenya. But we are saying that has come to an end. We are going to open up the milk industry. We are going to open up the gas business so that the people of Kenya can benefit.
Interesting. Be on the lookout for that. 4 people, including 2 children, have been killed by bandits in Samburu County. Residents of Marti, Samburu North, took to the streets on Sunday to condemn the killings. It is also reported that more than 200 livestock have been stolen, with over 700 residents at the Kioria Manyata forced to flee their homes. Among those that were killed include 2 pastoralists from Lolmalog in Samburu West. Timothy Kipnusu has that report.
The death of 4 people in Marti, Samburu North has attracted the wrath of area residents who held demonstrations to condemn the heinous acts on innocent people. The irate residents regretted the spate of killings on their loved ones and called on the government to intervene.
Kwa nini anaua watoto tafadhali? Kwa nini naona watoto analia kwa nyumba na anaua? Na serikali yetu alikuja anasema kila punduki sitakuona hapa. Watoto yote akatupa mafunduki, anasema sawa, tumewacha funduki, wacha tukae na amani.
Napeyo Lokidongo, who lost his relative on the attack, reveals that they are spending sleepless nights due to the rising cases of insecurity in the volatile area.
Na sisi tunalia maneno hiyo watoto. Tunauana, tunafanya nini? Siku unanganyanya pande moja funduki na wacha pande moja.
Kabla hawajafanya hiyo raid, walikuwa wameenda na hiyo ng'ombe 100. Na hii sio mara ya kwanza wapokoto kuua watoto wetu.
Kwa hivyo sisi tunaomba serikali yetu, kwa sababu tunakupenda, tunataka ufanye hiyo jambo. Operation wache iwe operation kamili ambayo tunataka kuona matunda yake.
More than 200 livestock have been stolen, with over 700 residents at the Kioria Manyata forced to flee to safety.
Watu 700 ambao walikuwa naishi kwa hii Manyata waliama, wakatorokea sehemu nyingine ambayo wanaweza kuwa na wakihofia maisha yao.
Sasa sijui kama nini kitu gani inaendelea hapa. Sisi tumekuwa tunasika wengine, tunaingiza wengine kwa mochari. Mpaka lini? Tunataka kuambia serikali hii ni nini inaendelea katika Samburu County.
Namoru Napei, who lost 2 children in the attack, will not hold her tears. She has called on the government to ensure the perpetrators are brought to book.
Sasa hiyo watu amesumbua sisi sana. Amesumbua sisi sana. Kabisa amemaliza hata watu. Sasa amechukua hapo, amechukua ng'ombe sasa mara 2. Ile uchungu iko naye, maneno ya watoto, si mali. Hiyo mtoto ni ya mtoto wangu. Alikuwa anachungulia mali. Mimi nakata makaa. Nasema wacha nikulishi, tafute chakula akapatie achunge mali.
Among those that were killed include 2 pastoralists from Lolmong, Samburu West. Timothy Kipnusu for Sunday Express.
Now, leaders from the political class on Sunday traversed various parts of the country to sell their agenda to Kenyans, particularly on issues including political unity, high cost of living, and the planned Azimio-led mass protests. Here is a look at the politics that shaped the weekend.
The political class went on a series of meetings across the country on Sunday to seek for support from Kenyans on various issues, while commending Investments, Trade and Industry Cabinet Secretary Moses Kioria for heeding to his calls of dissolving Chama cha Kazi to fully support the United Democratic Alliance. The newly installed UDH Secretary General Cleophas Malala urged other Cabinet Secretary to follow suit.
He is the first Cabinet Secretary to fold up his party and support His Excellency President William Ruto, and therefore I'll be requesting his fellow Cabinet Secretaries this week, kindly fold your parties and join the ruling party, UDA.
Amani National Congress has since told of Malala over the calls, despite his commitment to support Kenya Kwanza coalition.
As a party, we do not think that is important at this stage. Kenya is facing very pressing issues, including issues of security, issues of the economy, and we need to address these issues instead of concentrating on party issues.
In Jesus' precious name.
Meanwhile, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Brigade was in Kathioko in Machakos County. Here, Azimio leaders call on the government to fulfill its pledges, among them lowering the high cost of living. The opposition leaders, led by Kalonzo Musyoka and Martha Karua, also assured Kenyans that they will lead peaceful demonstrations. The countrywide demonstration by Azimio la Umoja is scheduled to kick off next week.
Maandamano ambayo yatakuweko itakuwa ya amani, so that Kenyans can speak. Ama sivyo, you be bottomed up. Unakaliwa juu chini, huwezi kupumua. Haiwezekani.
Na sisi hatupigi kifua. Kama hawaamini hiyo, wafungue sava, ukweli ujulikane. Huwezi kuendelea kukalia sava na kukataa ulishindwa. Kukalia sava ni kusema uko na uoga, unajua ikifunguliwa utalala kwako nyumbani, na sio kwa uongozi wa Kenya.
Meanwhile, Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza has lauded what she says was the president's intervention in the recent disagreements between her office and the county assembly members. Kawira says his intervention helped simmer opposition against her leadership, noting that this will help her administration deliver services to the people of Meru County.
Wakati rais wetu mpendwa tulipoongea na yeye na akasema lazima kuwe na amani, mama wa taifa, tuliweza kukutana na viongozi wote tukiongozwa na waziri wetu wa kilimo aliyosipita si ndwele tugange yajayo. Kwa hivyo sisi kama executive plus the county assembly of Meru tumeshikana namna hii ili kuleta maendeleo katika Meru yetu. Tunamshukuru Mungu.
For Sunday Express, I'm Gladys Mungai.
Let's focus on another sad story here. The county government of Mandera has launched the second round of relief food distribution in the entire county to cushion residents from effects of drought. The relief intervention is expected to cover 60,000 households across 30 wards, including vulnerable households and IDPs. Mandera Governor Mohammed Aden Khalif urged the national government and other donors to intervene and to avert loss of lives.
The prolonged failure of rains for 5 consecutive seasons has resulted in inflated prices of foodstuff, which has seen many Kenyans unable to afford the basics. In Mandera, the worst hit areas are Mandera West, Mandera South and Banisa constituencies. Following this, Mandera County government has begun its second phase of food distribution in the entire county. The relief intervention is expected to cover 60,000 households across 30 wards and 517 centers, including vulnerable households and IDPs. Mandera County Governor Mohammed Aden Khalif, while launching the food distribution, said they want to ensure those who need it most get the food.
Our population that's actually facing the acute food insecurity is almost 550,000 households. And it will continue becoming even worse as we approach this month. And inshallah, we pray that we're going to get the March, April, May rain, otherwise the situation will going to be very bad.
The governor appealed to national government and development partners to chip in before the situation worsens.
We are really exhausted. Being as the first line of response, the county government, we have been struggling with the mega resources that we have been having, but the challenges is now becoming heavier on us. We really appeal to our development partners to scale up their effort, their support. We call upon the people of Mandera, those who are able, to support their neighbors, their family members, and their friends.
According to the February 2023 Short Range Assessment Report by National Drought Management Authority, the population facing acute food insecurity and requiring humanitarian assistance has increased to approximately 550,000 in Mandera.
We've just done the assessment some few weeks ago, and the report has been out, the short range, and it is very evident that the drought situation is really biting across the county.
It is about 15 minutes since we began this broadcast. Time for us to take a fast breather. But again, let me notify you, it is the 88th minute in Anfield. There's a match ongoing there. 6 goals down by Manchester United losing to Liverpool. Looks like it will head to 10 basketball things. All right, we take a breather.
Nimesahau kucheza Loto Moto. Usisahau kucheza Loto Moto. Shinda milioni 2 kila siku kwenye M-Pesa. Chagua lipa na M-Pesa. Paybill number 757070. Account number andika neno Loto. Kisha weka star na nambari yako ya simu. Weka kiwango chochote cha pesa kuanzia shilingi 50 hadi 2,000.
Aulali.
Lipa kisha subiri draw. Welala. Nitakutimizia ndoto zako. Milioni 2 usiamini. Ujumbe huu umeidhinishwa na BCLB.
Kuna hizi kampuni zenye zinajua mali niko, kitu nimekula breko, kitu ninasema sahi, kitu nitakula next week on Thursday, pesa niko nazo kwa account siblings wangu, the list is endless. Na mnajuaje hii information? Kwani mnani stock?
Lakini nikuulize, kabla ya kupress allow, ulijiuliza hii information inatumiwa kwa njia gani? Kabla ya kuallow, hakikisha umesoma terms and conditions.
Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na ofisi ya Data Protection Commissioner.
After the dust settled on rigorous campaigns, Kenyans are waiting for elected leaders to deliver on their pledges.
To have clean, accessible drinking water across the county.
The hustle of everyday Kenyans is encouraged and rewarded.
Operationalizing Kerogoya Level 5 Hospital.
A functioning school feeding program.
But how have the leaders performed so far?
The percentage of AIDS in 2021 were more than those ones in 2022.
We will not politicize security, because if we do so, we endanger the country.
Every week, we bring you an honest assessment of the national and county governments.
One of the best ways of accelerating national development is through collaboration with county governments.
The Scorecard, coming soon on KBC Channel 1.
No need, I'll take it.
Come on, let me help my little sister. I've got it. Drop. You're shy?
Nothing to be shy about.
Bo, but you are now.
My best friend is pretty much part of my family. She would never do anything to betray me.
Oh. I told you before, I'll buy you the same one. But I couldn't find it. Finally, I had time.
I also brought you some breakfast, your favorite egg roll, and also a sandwich.
No need. I never eat breakfast. May I have some? Jenny bought this food. Ask her.
Welcome back. You're watching Sunday Express. Now, public discourse on the Supreme Court verdict approving the formation of a lesbian and gay association remains rife more than a week after the judges rendered the verdict. First Lady Rachel Ruto, who was attending a church service in Igembe, South Meru County, joined in condemning the verdict by the Supreme Court, saying Kenya is a religious country. This as the clergy continued to express their dismay, maintaining the church will not support the registration of a group as it goes against religious doctrines.
As the Christian
Kenyan faithful gathered in church ahead of the Easter celebrations. Debate on the Supreme Court ruling remains a subject of contention.
Mambo ingine ya kufanya hii mambo hii, sisi tunasema kwamba hiyo mambo si mzuri na tungependa. We want to strengthen the family institution.
Members of the clergy across the divide, adding their voice to the discourse, say the verdict defied the natural order, biblical teachings, and African culture.
We want to thank him as Catholic Christians for standing firm to defend our Christian and cultural moral values against those who support same-sex marriage.
LGBT is not something that is human and is not something that should be introduced in our country.
In the same breath, a section of legislators are querying the criteria used by judges to okay registration of the association.
We must reverse that ruling to demonstrate God's holiness. Whether the judiciary reverse it or not, twende kwa bunge tutengeneze sheria na tukatae.
And I want us to know this one thing, wa mama, please. Ya kwamba ni sisi wanaume, hakuna mwanaume anashughulikiaga mwanaume mwingine.
Mimi ningesema kama vile rais wa hapa jirani wetu Uganda Museveni alisema, kuna wawili walipatwa wakawekwa ndani, akasema watatoka ile siku watazaa mtoto.
They must be stopped, and I'm coming to Parliament with that bill. They must be stopped from the use of the rainbow as their part, as to identify themselves.
A similar bashing of the court's decision was witnessed with the Gikuyu elders appealing to lawmakers to hasten the process of overturning the court's verdict.
Tukasema hiyo iende kabisa na isiwe na mtoto wetu hata mmoja. Na tukasema hao wazungu warudi na kwao na hayo mambo.
Opicho Chemtai, Sunday Express.
Mwago FM, one of Kenya Broadcasting Corporation vernacular stations that broadcasts in Kimeru language, had a meet and greet the people tour where presenters interacted with fans Saturday night, promising to continue keeping them abreast on educative and on entertainment content. The sister station to KBC Channel 1, which has been in existence since 2013, commands a huge following in both Meru and Tharaka Nithi counties. The Mwago Night event, which was held at Sahara City Resort in Tunyai, Tharaka Nithi County, was quite a treat for the fans who turned out in the numbers for the event.
Mwanamke mmoja aje hapa aniambie Mwago inatangaza wapi, Mwago FM. Mama
atongoria bankathe mwanya ibara ya bumerie kere nyambura cha Mwago FM nira ruthekire Sahara City kere gicigo bunge kia Tharaka.
The West Kenya Union Conference of the Seventh-day Adventist Church and Equity Bank are considering a partnership that will see more learners in Adventist schools within the conference taken up in the Wings to Fly and Equity Leadership programs offered by the bank. The financial institution says it will work in tandem with faith-based schools to empower most needy learners in society, as Wycliffe Okech now reports.
Kenya Union Conference.
Equity Bank has been running its two flagship scholarship programs, namely the Wings to Fly and Equity Leadership, which are open to both secular and faith-based learning institutions. However, the bank is now mulling a partnership with the West Kenya Union Conference of the Seventh-day Adventist Church to scale up the number of learners taken up under the two programs.
The population is growing every day. We cannot keep measuring or going by the measures we did 10 years ago. The population in Kenya is bigger. So by that scale, we can only scale up our partnership.
The bank will work closely with faith-based institutions to identify and assist the neediest learners in society.
Religious or faith-based are institutions that you'll find in the remotest place. And if you want integrity, especially in the area of identifying the true needy, the true double orphans who cannot make it to secondary school, then church becomes a very good partner in that area.
The purpose of education, as we understand it, is to prepare people for service on earth and in heaven. So our education is education for eternity. and it is building up characters, building up integrity so that we raise up people who are focused on service and not just money or position.
Esther Mimba, the best student within the West Kenya Union Conference in last year's KCSE, is a beneficiary of the Equity Leadership Program.
I was in Segero Adventist National School and I scored an A- of 80 points. Yes, currently I'm posted at Equity, Kisumu branch.
The West Kenya Union Conference on Sunday held an education day for its affiliate learning institutions where top performers in last year's national examinations were awarded. For Sunday Express, I'm Wycliffe Okage.
Now, that year-old James Maura has concluded his month-long run to raise funds for children with congenital heart disease and in need of heart surgery. Maura, an athlete, has been on a gruesome journey, breaking the record by running for 13 days and resting for 14 days from Kisumu to Mombasa.
Mama Ngina Waterfront was his final destination. The gruesome journey saw him collapse and given first aid by his assistant Peter, who has been with him throughout the journey. James Maura is an athlete and has participated in duathlon races. His passion to help children with congenital heart disease led him to this charity run to raise funds for their surgery.
We have about 800 kids and some of them can't even raise 10% of the money. So hii kazi haijakuwa tu ni kazi ya kuvunja rekodi, imekuwa ni kazi ya kusaidia pia watoto ambao wanatuhitaji sana na kuleta pia Wakenya pamoja.
It has not been an easy run.
We started on 4th of Feb. We've ended today on 4th of March. 28 days, but we've been running for 13 days. Hizo zingine zimekuwa siku za kupumzika kwa sababu it's been a crazy journey, honestly. As I said earlier, no words can explain. Injuries, being chased by wild animals in Savo, accidents kwenye barabara, injuries, some even career-threatening, but nafurahi that finally we're here.
Maura has raised 120,000 shillings only, even as he targeted 9 million shillings. He called upon Kenyans to continue sending their contributions as it goes a long way in saving the lives of the children in Tenwek Hospital and care for the child's heart home in Nairobi.
Again, also it's the most important thing. Tumeweza kufundraise ya wale watoto wenye wamekuwa na congenital heart disease. We've raised about 120,000 and I'm really happy about that. We were targeting about 9 million, but still the thing is ongoing. It's still going on. The kids are still there, so you still need it. And I believe that through this, people are going to be inspired and even shaken to keep sending those contributions to these kids who still need the help.
For Sunday Express, from Mombasa County, I am Ann Mburu.
And now the national government administrators have been challenged to spearhead alternative dispute resolution mechanisms in arbitrating petty offences. Correctional Services Principal Secretary Mary Muthoni says this will reduce the backlog of court cases and decongest prisons. This comes ahead of the start of a service week by the Employment and Labour Relations Court aimed at clearing the backlog of cases that are more than 3 years old in 5 counties. More details in the county briefs by Frederick Parsayo.
The Principal Secretary, who was in Gishugu, Kirinyaga County, said a majority of youth below the age of 35 were behind bars due to petty family disputes, petty crimes and boundary rows. Cases that could be solved by chiefs, village elders and other administrators to reduce cases in court, calling for a functional dispute resolution mechanism.
The only way is to have alternative dispute resolutions. Mambo ya mashamba tunaongea nyumbani, si kwenda kotini. Kwa sababu shamba unaulizana na ndugu yako, ndugu na dada. So you sit down as a family, sort out the issue as a family. Musipelekane kotini, alafu mnaenda kujiaibisha pale.
Separately, in Kiambu County, Governor Kimani Wamatangi has launched a cleanup exercise in the 12 sub-counties. This move is aimed at keeping the environment clean. The exercise will be a monthly exercise conducted on the first or last Saturday of the month.
wakati utakaofika mwezi wa Machi kwa majaliwa yake Mwenyezi Mungu, Jumamosi ya mwisho, hata nyinyi mukae tu muweke kama ni masaa mawili kutoka saa 1 asubuhi mpaka saa 4, utoke pia usaidie kusafisha mahali, alafu sisi wote turudi kwenye kazi zetu.
Now I declare this Tower Sacco new branch officially open.
Wow. Still in Kiambu County, Agriculture, Livestock and Cooperatives County Chief Executive Committee member Wilfred Kiara has urged financial institutions to finance small and medium entrepreneurs.
There is importance of the government also collaborating with the SACCO societies, because they're the ones who are dealing with the common mwananchi, ile wa pale chini kabisa, so that any kind of financing that is required kuwezesha kufanya biashara zao.
In Laikipia County, environmental stakeholders are raising concerns over the pollution of rivers in urban centers. The environmentalists conducting a cleanup exercise of Nanyuki and Liki rivers urged the county government to evict those who had built permanent houses along the riparian land.
We are now asking the government of His Excellency the Governor of Laikipia to come up with a structure to help us to clean these two rivers.
In addition, a group of well-wishers from Nanyuki town have embarked on a walk to raise funds to feed school-going children from slum areas in the town. The ongoing food shortage has hampered their efforts amid calls for other well-wishers to partner with them.
Leo tulikuwa na run kuweza kujulisha watu about our presence and about the situation at our schools, and also to be able to raise funds so that we can be able to increase our numbers and cover more ground.
Meanwhile, the Council of Elders of the Bajuni community in Lamu County are demanding a public apology from the area county women representative Monica Marubu. The elders are taking issue with a statement she made last week claiming attacks in the county were not the works of the Al-Shabaab militia group, but rather locals hired by ranch owners to cause unrest.
Mambo ambayo ya aibu kwa kiongozi kama yeye kusimama mbele ya rais siku ya ibada azungumze maneno ya chuki na ya kuleta tafaruk na ambayo ingeleta uhasama baina ya makabila tofauti ambao wanaishi Lamu.
Finally, Busia Governor Dr. Apollo Twoma has assured residents that he will implement the task force report on governance and system reforms to transform and improve service delivery in the county. Speaking during the launch of the report, the county boss reiterated he will rid the county of ghost workers.
Once you are given an office, you must work. You must work and you must deliver. So for those who have been given opportunities to be in the county executive, we now need them also to provide the leadership. But we are also saying the board and the public service, they must also now streamline and restructure to make sure that the resources, the human resources that we are developing is helping us to solve our problem.
Frederick Parsayo, Sunday Express.
There's a very interesting story that I highlighted earlier. Imagine breastfeeding a baby who is not your child. For Rose Boke, it is a calling. She has answered time and time again. At the age of 37, this remarkable mother of 4 has breastfed not just one, but a total of 13 abandoned and rescued children at God's Family Rescue Center, the orphanage she founded in 2019. Caroline Mwende had the privilege of speaking with Rose and learning about her extraordinary journey, and filed the following report, which is voiced by Trevor Ngendo.
Meet Rose Boke in Donholm Sunrise Estate, Phase 1. A 37-year-old mother of 58. 4 among them her biological children. She is the founder of God's Family Rescue Center and School, a safe haven for hundreds of vulnerable children. But it is for her unique work of breastfeeding abandoned infants that has earned her recognition and widespread admiration.
Daktari lazima amwangalie mtoto na kumpima. Sasa mimi mwenyewe binafsi huwa najitolea. Daktari anaponipatia go ahead, huwa naamua kunyonyesha au watoto. Kwa jumla na mdogo ni watoto 13 na wangu wenyewe ni watoto 4. Sasa kwangu watoto pamoja na wengine sina tofauti. Huwa nasema watoto wote ni zawadi kutoka kwa Mungu. Mungu amenikabidhi. Amenipenda akanipatia watoto wangu wa uzao langu. na pia vile vile akaniongeza baraka ambayo ni ya watoto. Hasa kama wakwangu wananyonyesha, sioni ugumu ule wa kutokuwanyonyesha watoto kama hawa. Sasa kwangu inanipatia unahisi unapata labda nitakula tu chakula cha kutosha ili maziwa yaweze kupatikana watoto wananyonya.
It is a calling, she says, developed at the age of 9, where she would gift pens, books and clothes to the needy, and has so far rescued more than 600 children, most of them brought by police as young as just 1 day old.
Katika hiki kituo cha God's Family Rescue Center ninalea watoto ambao hawana wazazi kabisa, na pia vile vile watoto ambao wanatupwa. Hapana, watoto niko registered na serikali. Watoto huwa wanaletwa na polisi, ama utapata ananipigia simu, mtoto labda amezaliwa na kutupwa mahali fulani, nitaitwa niende nimchukue.
The doctor has now stopped her from breastfeeding due to complications.
Maana nilikuwa na hisi kizunguzungu sana. Maana kuna watoto 3 nilikuwa nanyonyesha mkono wangu wa kulia na watoto 2 mkono wa kushoto. Sasa immunity ilienda chini sana. Nilikuwa nimewanyonyesha kwa miezi 5, daktari kaniambia niachie hapo. Sasa kwa hawa wengine inabidi tunawapatia maziwa, kama tuko na uwezo wa kununua maziwa 8 tunawanunulia. Vile vile kama hatuna uwezo wanakunywa tu maziwa ya kawaida ya packet.
Some benefactors of the orphanage are now adults who also come to adopt some of the children in this center.
Sasa utapata wengi yani wananishika mkono, mami acha mimi nikusaidie hivi, mami acha mimi nikusomeshe watoto 2. Sasa kwa kweli yani niko na backup ambayo namshukuru Mungu.
Kelly Boke just finished her secondary education. She is the firstborn in the family and wishes to proceed with her tertiary education, but resources are limited.
Hicho kipindi nimemaliza shule, pia amenisaidia pia nikafanya computers classes, nimeattend na mpaka hapo sikuweza kumalizia. Ningependa pia kuendelea mbele, mimi napenda kufanya catering na sikuweza kufanya.
Raising school fees, rent, paying the staff and affording food for the children in the rescue center are just but a few of the many challenges encountered at the center.
Kwa kweli jinsi watoto wanavyozidi kuongezeka, lazima utatafuta nyumba kubwa pia ya kuwalea watoto vizuri, wakaishi mahali pazuri, wako na eneo la kucheza vizuri. Sasa inakubidi uchukue nyumba pia kubwa zaidi. Na unavyoendelea kuchukua nyumba kubwa, malipo yake pia yanazidi kuongezeka. Sasa changamoto zimekuwa pia ni kulipa nyumba. Watoto kwa kweli sio wangu peke yangu. Hao watoto ni wa jamii nzima. Sasa pia ningeomba labda jamii nzima tuungane pamoja na kulea watoto vizuri. Itakuwa ni furaha kubwa yangu, maana watoto napendezwa sana napoona wakiwa vizuri.
Rose's unwavering dedication to her calling has inspired many and is a testament to the transformative power of one's selfless love and compassion.
Nimesahau kucheza Loto Moto. Usisahau kucheza Loto Moto. Shinda milioni 2 kila siku kwenye M-Pesa. Chagua lipa na M-Pesa. Paybill number 757070. Account number andika neno Loto. Kisha weka star na nambari yako ya simu. Weka kiwango chochote cha pesa kuanzia shilingi 50 hadi 2000.
Aulali.
Lipa kisha subiri draw. Welala. Nitakutimizia ndoto zako. Milioni 2 usiamini. Ujumbe huu umeidhinishwa na BCLB.
Believe that there's a problem. Well, what's the problem? We counted the boxes several times, and it doesn't match with what's on the inventory. Are you aware we have this problem?
Well then, why did you come into my room without my permission?
The truth is, I've made a decision.
And what is your decision?
I hired another veterinarian.
What do you mean, he decided? Oligario Montoya is my father, Pancho. What do you mean he decided to do it?
Nataka niwachie hapa nikichome. Kutoka mafuta ipate bei, atuchomangi chai. Hiyo mambo rolewa shanka. Siwezi kubali.
Siku ile.
Hii chai iko na chumvi kwa nini? Sasa mimi mtu ataniletea uchuachi.
Ushanizoea na mimi sitaki unizoe. Chukua hizi vitu zako zote utumbukize. Sitaki.
Najua uko na masikio na uko na macho hata kama umefunga unaniona. Nimekupika 7 hours.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Sunday Express. The fate of children in drought-stricken areas of Kajiado County hangs in the balance, with the majority of them malnourished, staring at starvation and on the brink of despair. The miners have been forced to resort to survival mode in search of any morsel of food to stay alive. It is this sad picture that our reporter Sarafina Robi encountered when she toured remote villages in Kajiado, where tales of a happy childhood do not feature in the conversation. Theirs is a story of miners robbed of their childhood and an education due to the vagaries of nature, early marriages, or teen pregnancies.
This is 24-year-old Kioria Oyari, a mother and a wife. On a daily basis, she's forced to walk for about 8 kilometers in search of water for her family. Her day begins at 5 a.m. She'll return home at noon with a jerrycan of water on her back. The last time they had a meal was the previous night, and the meal was a plate of ugali. This is a mixture of maize and flour. Having a balanced meal is the least of her worries.
Hakuna hata mmoja ako shuleni. Pia hata tuna Kenya tunaweza somesha. Chakula sahi tunaweza hata kulala siku mbili bila kula. Ndio hata watoto wanakata kgs.
Her eldest daughter is 8 years old and the youngest child is 1 year old. Her eldest daughter has never seen the inside of a classroom.
Amesema hata na mimi nataka nisomeshe nipate watoto kama wengine, kwa mambo wengine wakienda shule na mimi sijaenda nitaendelea.
Her mother explains school is a luxury they can't afford. Their livestock died due to drought, rendering them penniless.
Ng'ombe zilimlikuwa na ng'ombe kitambo. Lakini nini shangazi ndili sababisha hicho.
The prevailing condition forces them to rely on donors who provide them with food and supplements. But this is not sufficient to take care of their nutrition needs.
Kuomba tu watu chakula, maji wa kuogea nguo. Sasa hii tu ukiona vile wako wachafu na zatuana tuko na shida ila hakuna.
The story mirrors that of 35-year-old Lea Kelempo. She is the mother of 10, among them are 2 sets of twins. Her children are also out of school. The biting hunger has forced her family to get separated. Some of her children live with relatives to share the burden.
I
intend to relocate my school-going children once they close school to a place they can find food. I had around 10 cows. All of them are now dead. Previously, they also relied on livestock for their livelihood. But the cycle of failed rains changed all that. The last time it rained at this particular place was in November 2022. It's been 4 months of the scorching sun, a ravaging drought, dead livestock, and for Lea Kelempo's 7 children out of school. She now hopes that the government will intervene and help her children get back to school. After our talk with Leah and Kioria, we left for El Bisil to visit the market. The journey to the market was dusty, save for patches of drought-resistant plants that appear to dot the landscape. At the market, the prices for selling livestock were at an all-time low. A cow that previously fetched 60,000 shillings is retailing at 11,000 shillings.
Hii ng'ombe kabla kiangazi nilikuwa nauza shilingi 50,000 mpaka 60,000 na sasa nauza 10,000.
And from the market, we headed to a nearby water point. Here we meet James Koite and Raymond Miale. The duo reminisce about the good old times when they owned hundreds of sheep and goats.
We are undergoing very harsh times because of the ongoing drought. Our children no longer go to school. Instead, they are at home. If you go to a home where they had 30 cows, right now, you can barely find 5. Now, our future is very uncertain. Right now, when you go to sell a cow, the highest amount you can get is Kenya shillings 5,000.
They highlight the anguish they're facing as they try to sell the remaining cattle to put food on the table. Some of the school-going children have accompanied them to the water point. The area senior assistant chief, Joseph Ndegesi, who has held position for 19 years, confirms our fears on the fate of the children.
Saa zingine wakikaa nyumbani sana wanapeanwa. Kila wakati tuko na hiyo shida kujaribu kuzuia watoto.
Nutritionist Pauline Kaesha says malnutrition is rampant in the area.
High cases of malnutrition. They have risen compared to the recent past.
At times, they go to the ground to help severe cases.
We also run random and fast lab tests to them. So we give them medication and treat them and give them the commodities.
Some of the non-governmental organizations, such as World Vision, step in to help.
Significant impact on the well-being of women and girls, both as they grow but also as they deliver babies.
The drought has been ongoing for 3 years now, leaving carcasses of dead cows and an increase in the number of children without one of the basic needs, education. Serafina Robi for Sunday Express.
Quite a sad story there. Of course, the vagaries of drought and the climate changes, they continue to affect different counties in the Republic. Now, every child is entitled to free and compulsory education, but when it comes to visually impaired learners in this country, many are facing a lot of challenges to access education. The Principal Kibos, a special secondary for the visually impaired in Kisumu County, is pleading for a change. He's calling on the government and the community to help give the learners the education they deserve. Our intern reporter Sheila Nyamwaya recently visited the school and brings us this feature story.
For these students, singing is a source of hope and pride. Sharon Atieno Okelo is a student here at Kibos Special Secondary. She is gradually losing her sight and refers to singing as a stress reliever.
Sometimes, when you're at home, maybe someone comes, then you're being told that, no, you're blind, just sit down, you cannot do this.
Here at Kibos, it isn't like that. Her teachers encourage her and the other 163 students to keep working hard for what they love. But the school faces many challenges.
We have so many urgent needs that people who are touched outside there should come in and support this school so that these learners are almost comfortable. They cannot be very comfortable, but they should be almost comfortable.
The school also lacks a proper fence, posing security issues. And despite it being a school for the visually impaired, it doesn't have pavements, making it difficult for learners using white canes to move around. The principal says the school is also in dire need of infrastructure. These are future classrooms, and these are dormitory for girls.
We have begun constructing.
The national government gave the school 10 million shillings, only enough for laying the foundation.
Let us see the rooms for Wing A.
He says when it's complete, the dorm will be comfortable for 224 girls to sleep. Right now, they are on a borrowed accommodation at a primary school next door.
Some girls are sharing beds, like not good. Some are sleeping on the floor, then they start attracting very funny diseases.
The primary school is complaining that the infrastructure that they had sublet us should be let free. So as we speak, our girls are supposed to come this side any moment from now.
The boys have a dorm, but they don't have enough mosquito nets. And Kisumu County is a malaria hot zone. The school also doesn't have a vehicle, and the principal says some students are epileptic and have to be rushed to the hospital quite often.
I know President William Ruto is very generous in this. He has given buses to very many special schools, and he forgot Kibos Special Secondary.
They do not have a dining hall that will accommodate them all, so the students are forced to eat anywhere they can. School officials say delays from the government to release support for food forces them to depend on the generosity of suppliers.
So because of the lack of the money or the prompt release of the funds, you realize that we are not able to give our children quality food.
Lynette Okoth is the deputy principal and teacher here at Kibos.
We take positive 2, we are multiplying by x plus 3.
She says students use a variety of devices to learn, but the best one is called an Orbit reader. Teachers can upload materials, and then the machine turns the content into Braille.
By the coming of Orbit, it has helped even our performance.
But she says they don't have enough. They need 39 more in order for every Braille user to get access to one.
It can store a lot of information. Orbit saves time. They just click and it opens up.
Clearly, there are a lot of challenges facing this school, but those who support the visually impaired learners say the situation at some other schools is even worse.
Kibos is a good school. You should go to some of the schools that we support.
Supana Biswas is the CEO of Kilimanjaro Blind Trust Africa, located in Nairobi. The organization focuses on distributing assistive devices to visually impaired schools across Kenya. She says they are planning to provide devices for every learner in a school for the visually impaired by the end of 2023.
That's like $2 million we're talking about just for the devices.
The Basic Education Act of 2013 in the Kenyan Constitution clearly lists the obligations of the government as having to provide infrastructure and learning equipment to special schools.
Private organizations or non-governmental organizations cannot be responsible for what is the responsibility of the government.
The Education Cabinet Secretary says the government will work on getting more assistive devices.
And, of course, it's a continuous process. We will be able to carry out an assessment so that those institutions that are not having enough, we will be able to fast track and ensure that they have what is required.
Back at Kibos, the principal is urging any organization, donors, and well-wishers to join hands to enable the school to achieve its objective.
We want to see these learners compete with the other folk in the career market. We want to see them take their share of the job market.
Disability is not inability.
Speaking about the future, Sharon is dedicated to becoming successful. She aspires to be a journalist.
Will we reach our destiny? Yes!
They may not be able to see, but when it comes to singing, the Kibos students compete fiercely, creating joy for themselves and those around them. Sheila Nyamaya for KBC at Kibos Special Secondary for the visually impaired in Kisumu County.
Mzee aliniambia ati jana aliota na mimi. Hekaya za bunuasi.
Ukumbuki uko na therapy session leo?
Ma'am, hiyo ni afternoon. Kuna place nafaa kuwa sahihi.
You don't abandon a child just because mistakes zimefanyika. Heaven knows you wouldn't be having a brother by now.
Unaweza nsakia kakitu, mazimi nadai kujitoa.
Unajua ile biashara nyingine ilivamiwa na masanse.
Melissa, nimekuwa nikikutafuta. Sikai. Nimekuja tu kukuambia. Najua mwenye alikuwa baba yako.
And for us to do sports, but first a very quick update about the results from Anfield. It went at 7-0. That is against Manchester United. Means then they lost that match after what you would call a lineup of wins. And here we are. Kenya Police easily strolled into the last 16 of the Mozart Cup football tournament after beating Scarlet FC 4-1 in the round of 32 matches, or 32 match played at the Kasarani Annex in Nairobi. In the other round of 32 fixtures played today, Gor Mahia narrowly edged Kibera Soka 1-0, while Kariobangi Sharks thrashed Marula 6-0.
Kenya Police secured the last 16th place in the Mozart Cup after an easy win over Scarlet FC at the Kasarani Annex. The Kenya Premier League side got off to the best start, netting 2 easy goals in the first period against Scarlet, formed by former Kenyan players. Scarlet managed to find the net, but that was only a consolation as Police scored 2 more times to secure the 4-1 victory. Gor Mahia looked to be troubled by Kibera Soka in the other match, but managed to find the net once as they crawled into the last 16. Kariobangi Sharks were the biggest winners on Sunday, netting 6 times against Marula FC to also move into the last 16. Bandari and Sofapaka also managed to secure wins in their respective matches against Administration Police and Karatina Homeboys.
Kenya's Rosemary Wanjiru held off a strong challenge from Ethiopian runners to win the 2023 Tokyo Marathon in Japan. Wanjiru ran 2 hours, 16 minutes and 28 seconds for the 7th lastest women's marathon performance in history, winning by 28 seconds ahead of Ethiopia's Sehi Gemechu. Ashite Bekeri finished third after clocking 2 hours, 19 minutes and 11 seconds. Rosemary Wanjiru was contesting the second marathon of her career after finishing second in her debut in Berlin last year. In the men's competition, Kenya's Titus Kipruto clocked 2 hours, 5 minutes and 32 seconds to finish 4th. Ethiopia's Deso Gelmista emerged victorious in a time of 2 hours, 5 minutes and 22 seconds, beating compatriots Mohamed Essa and Sigaye Getachew to the 2nd and 3rd positions respectively. And the Kenya National Rugby Sevens team Shujaa has just defeated Spain 24-14 in the 9th place semi-final of the Vancouver leg of this season's World Series. Shujaa will now play Samoa later tonight in the final, with the winner finishing in position 9. Kenya strolled into the semi-final after beating South Africa 17-12 in the quarterfinals. After a dismal performance in Los Angeles last weekend, Kenya got the Vancouver leg off to another horrible start by going down 31-12 to Fiji. That loss was followed by another 26-12 hammering by Great Britain before they narrowly lost 21-19 to Uruguay in the last Pool C match.
South Africa just bobbling the ball and then Kenya just putting on that unrelenting pressure. And boom! Just like that.
Michael Karanga of Kiambu Golf Club and Vipingo Ridge Golf Club player Naomi Wafula were crowned the champions of the 2023 edition of the Windsor Classic Golf Tournament. Amateurs and professionals used the competition to prepare for the magical Kenya Open, which tees off on the 9th at Muthaiga Golf Club.
2/218 for back-to-back wins in the event held at the Windsor Golf Club. Ugandan Godfrey Nsubuga, who caddied 4/220 on the par 72 course, was second, while Bhavnish Chandaria of Muthaiga Golf Club completed the podium after registering 6/222. In the pro category, resident golfer Rizwan Charania emerged top with 1/215, followed by David Wako, who caddied 2/218. Kevin Mabele settled for the third position with 4/220. In the ladies category, Naomi Wafula of Vipingo Ridge Golf Club clinched victory with 15/231, ahead of Joyce Wanjiro of Kiambu Golf Club, who registered 19/235. Winners were awarded cash prizes at a prize-giving ceremony at Windsor Golf Hotel and Country Club. Nora Mwangi for Sunday Express.
The founder of Chess in Slums Africa, Tunde Onakoya, is touring the country for the first time under the Gift of Chess organization to oversee the development of the game. The Nigerian chess master and coach is visiting Nairobi and Mombasa counties before heading to Uganda. Children in slum areas with a desire to play the game of chess got a chance to interact with the founder of Chess in Slums Africa, Tunde Onakoya, who is on a tour in the country and who says that the aim of the Gift of Chess, a non-governmental organization, is to give children the opportunity to put their talents on test.
With Gift of Chess, we've been able to reach over 10,000 children already across slum communities in Africa, right? There are pockets of slums scattered across Africa, and there's always this talk about how Africa has so much potential, but potential is nothing if it's not realized, right? So we need to move beyond potential to helping these children, so much human capital, that we're leaving to waste, helping them reach their truest potential, right?
Onakoya visited kids in the slum of Dipsy together with Barney Swamboy, who is the reigning Under-12 Open 2022 national champion, as well as the global ambassador of the organization.
I just studied hard, I worked hard, played games, read books about chess, got to learn more about chess, solved puzzles on chess.com and Lichess. That's how I improved, that's how I beat the others. Phyllis Ngige, the organization's global outreach director, says that their aim is to give chess access to kids in slums.
Children's home, they have kids from even 2 years, 5 years, but we take the ones who can understand. Anyone interested, we start mentoring them.
The team heads to Mombasa this evening, where they will also tour other slum areas in the coast region.
Time for us to put a cap on Sunday Express, but somebody tells me in my ears here that it's going to be a tough night for Eric Ten Hag, the Manchester United coach, obviously losing 7-0 to Liverpool. Explaining such a result for a coach is going to be horrendous. But then again, I'm reminded Chelsea has bigger problems than Manchester United. So I choose silence. Have yourself a good night. My name is John Jacob Kioria. Our sign language interpreter has been Lensa Udingo.